This is my first actual video, as opposed to my previous videos which were just me answering questions on Tumblr out of boredom. I'm doing an About Me because I figured that seemed like a fairly logical place to start. First thing, obviously, is first. My name is Rain. Yes, that is actually my name. No, I didn't just make something up and tell people to call me that. It's my middle name. I am 21 years old. I will be 22 in December. And in case you didn't know, December birthdays pretty much suck. 2 words as to why. Birthmas, presents. They suck. I am a self-proclaimed nerd, which is something I will probably one day make a video about, being a self-proclaimed nerd, because a lot of people seem to be under the impression that to be a nerd, you must fit a select set of criteria. Otherwise, you're just claiming to be a nerd because apparently being a nerd is cool now, or something. But like I said, whole different video. What sort of started me on my path to nerdiness, other than the fact that several of my family members are nerds, was I read The Hobbit when I was about 10, I think. I read The Hobbit because my uncle told me I would like it, and I became absolutely obsessed. He didn't suggest reading Lord of the Rings right then because I guess he thought I was too young or something. A bit later, I don't remember exactly how long, it got announced that the Lord of the Rings movies were coming out. And he told me that he would take me to see all of the movies, but I had to read all of the books before I got to see the movies. And I didn't have to have the entire trilogy finished before Fellowship came out, I just had to have Fellowship finished before Fellowship came out. And, of course, I was super excited because I loved The Hobbit. In addition to that whole thing, I was pretty much raised on Star Wars. I went to see all 3 of the prequels in theaters, which was mostly awesome other than the fact that Revenge of the Sith was disappointing. I expected a lot less of Anakin being a whiny emo baby and a lot more of Order 66 being carried out and the whole Anakin betraying Obi-Wan, which was done kind of poorly in my opinion, and so I was mildly disappointed with that one, and I'm about to say something that will make a lot of Star Wars fans' heads explode, but Phantom Menace is actually my favorite of the prequels. Obviously not of the entire series, because that would just be ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure I would lose my right to call myself a Star Wars fan. Obviously my favorite of the entire series is Return of the Jedi, because that's pretty much everyone's favorite, mostly because it's awesome. I am also a big Whedonite. Obviously I love his big shows like Buffy and Angel, and I am a huge Firefly fan, which is a terribly sad thing to be, because where is the rest of it? I want another season or another movie or something so badly, because we just got so little and it's so sad. Dollhouse is actually my favorite of the things he's done, mostly because I love Adele and Topher and it has a really interesting concept. I am also a really big Whovian and a Torchwood fan. Do Torchwood fans have a name for themselves? I think I've heard Woody, but that's a terrible thing to call yourself. Seriously. I preferred the Davies era to the Moffat era just because I think he tends to sort of write himself into a bit of a hole, especially with Series 6. It had like this brilliant arc, and I was really wanting to know what happened, and then the ending was just... I was super disappointed with the Series 6 ending. Like, I was expecting something clever, and he's in a robot suit. Why, Muppet? I'm also a huge Sherlock fan, I say after I just started talking about how I dislike Moffat's writing. But I like what he does with Sherlock. It's quite good. Which I'm not sure if that necessarily counts as nerdy, but it definitely does have this huge, vocal, amazing, talented fandom that I absolutely adore. Most of the time, when they're not harassing the writers about who they ship. What is wrong with you guys? You can't just assume that Gatiss ships John Locke because he's gay. What? And why would you say that to him? What? Why? I'm also a huge Harry Potter fan. I remember when I was younger, I pretty much refused to read the books because I was being all non-conformist or something, because I was obnoxious like that when I was younger. So I pretty much refused to read them until I think around the time the third book was out. In fact, I know it was around the time the third book was out because I read first 3 extremely quickly and then had to wait for the 4th one to be released, and it was awful. I didn't actually go to any of the movie premieres until the 7th movie just because it never really worked out that I had an opportunity to. Either I didn't have a ride, or it wasn't loud, or I was poor, or some combination of those things. But I went to the premiere for both the 7th and the 8th, and I did the double feature for the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which was awesome. Basically, I have several fandoms, probably like half of which I can't think of at the moment, because I can never manage to make a coherent list of all of the things I'm interested in, because it is a gigantic list. I do have a boyfriend. He will be affectionately referred to as my boyfriend, or the boy, because I'm creative like that. He is also a nerd. He's a huge gamer and much more of a Star Wars fanatic than I am. Like, he's read many of the novels and has several books with technical readouts and blueprints of ships and everything you could ever want to know about every species that's ever been created in the Star Wars universe, and just knows so much it makes my head hurt. I don't understand where he keeps it all. I myself am not much of a gamer, not because I don't find video games interesting or I don't see their appeal. It's just I personally have no hand-eye coordination and terrible reaction time, so I'm really terrible at video games, and I get easily frustrated when I'm dying over and over again. I do, however, like Eve and Diablo 2, which are completely unrelated in their playstyle, and pretty much everything about them is different, but those are the games I like, well, in Pokemon. So at this point, I'm going to stop rambling about myself. I hope that that wasn't too all over the place. But there's a good possibility it is, because I am doing a stream of consciousness and I have been up for far too long. But that's all I have to say for now.